Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has awarded the former chief of his country's armed forces their highest honour. President Zelenskyy bestowed upon General Valerii Zaluzhnyi the title Hero of Ukraine at a ceremony in Kyiv. Now, this came a day after the president replaced the general as commander-in-chief in a shake-up aimed at regaining the initiative in the war against Russia's invasion. The general is regarded by many Ukrainians as a national hero for overseeing Ukraine's defence following Russia's invasion. General Zaluzhnyi has been replaced by the commander of Ukraine's ground forces, Alexander Syrsky. Polls show the sacked general enjoys more popular support than President Zelenskyy. Here's a snapshot of the mood on the streets in Kyiv following the shake-up.
We have a new driver, but we don't know how he drives. Why? Because we haven't ridden in the same bus with him yet.
In my opinion, people need to come out and protest so that Zaluzhnyi can keep his job.
I think the leadership probably has a better view of the situation, but I have a lot of respect for him. General Zaluzhnyi, thank you.
They did it. I can't change it, and neither can you. I just hope that everything will be fine and that we will win.
Well, let's pick this up with Yuri Sak. He's a former advisor to the Ukrainian Minister of Defence. He's now an advisor to the Minister of Strategic Industries. Welcome to DW. Why was General Zaluzhnyi sacked?
Good evening, Phil. Ukraine has been fighting this aggressive war for almost 2 years, and the war we are fighting today is not the war we were fighting in 2022, then 2023. It's very dynamic, it changes. And we have come to a point where, because of a number of factors, we objectively need to upgrade our army, to renew the military leadership, to bring in a new vision, a new strategy, and new approaches to a number of aspects which all make up our defense capabilities. And this is exactly what has happened. President Zelenskyy is the supreme commander-in-chief of our country, according to our constitution, and he is responsible for determining the strategy of Ukraine's defense overall. So General Zaluzhnyi is really, like you said in your report, is very much loved by all Ukrainians. We regard him as a hero, and we really are thankful to him for everything he has done to help us defend ourselves. But at the same time, Alexander Syrsky, who is coming in to replace him, is also a very experienced general who has more than 10 years of combat experience.
OK, so you'll be aware that there are rumours that this wasn't a military decision, but a political one, General Zaluzhnyi being seen to be too popular, more popular even than the president.
Bill, at the moment, the vast majority of Ukrainians are not preoccupied with politics. And actually, the political and military leadership as well is focused solely on how to defend our country and how to liberate our territories and our people, how to return back the prisoners of war, how to return tens of thousands of deported Ukrainian children. So politics, that will come another day. For now, we are focused on the objectives in terms of protecting our country.
I'd like to play you a clip from an interview between the American journalist Tucker Carlson and Vladimir Putin, which was broadcast on the Tucker Carlson network, and then get your response.
So I just want to make sure I'm not misunderstanding what you're saying. I don't think that I am. I think you're saying you want a negotiated settlement to what's happening in Ukraine.
Right. And we made it. We prepared a huge document in Istanbul that was initialed by the head of the Ukrainian delegation. He affixed his signature to some of the provisions, not to all of it. He put his signature and then he himself said, we were ready to sign it and the war would have been over long ago, 18 months ago. However, Prime Minister Johnson came, talked us out of it, and we missed that chance.
Yuri Sak, how much of that is true? Did the former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson persuade Ukrainian negotiators away from a deal?
First of all, I don't think what we saw just now was an interview from the perspective of ethical journalism. It was a piece of propaganda. But having said that, I must say that as the indicted war criminal and the leader of Kremlin was pronouncing those words, there were bombs and Shahed drones aiming and targeting and destroying peaceful Ukrainian cities. So whatever that person says about peaceful settlement is absolutely nonsense. We are seeing his intentions on a daily basis with the level of the destruction that Russian Federation wreaks on our country. As for the Boris Johnson issue, I wasn't present at that table. I wouldn't want to speak for somebody else.
Fair enough. The leaders of your country's two biggest military backers meet in Washington today as the German Chancellor meets the US President. What would you like to see come out of that meeting?
Well, of course, we would like to see union between the European countries and the United States of America, because we remain confident that Ukraine's victory in this aggressive war is in the national interest of all the countries who today comprise the coalition of three nations. And we have seen that the European Union has come together and all 27 members have voted in favor of the support bill for Ukraine. And we hope to see the same will happen in terms of the bipartisan support for Ukraine in the US. So, of course, this is very important now.
Right. That bipartisan support is absolutely lacking at the moment. Is it fair to say that unless this money is released from the US, Ukraine, and your effort against Russia, you're finished?
We've said it many times before that for us, it's a matter of survival. So if we have to, we will fight with brooms and sticks. And at the same time, we remain hopeful and, if not confident, that the political leadership of the United States of America, regardless whether they're Republican or Democrat, they fully understand what's at risk. And they fully realize that, again, standing with Ukraine is in the national interest of the US. Because, you know, there is still a window of opportunity where, you know, the war in Ukraine can be fought here in Ukraine. That window is not going to be open forever. And I'm sure that political leadership, both in the US and Europe, understand this very well.
Thank you for joining us. Advisor to the Ukrainian Minister of Strategic Industries, Yuri Sak.
Thank you, Phil.